Where do I even start with this video, man? Um, I'm a little sick right now, so if I sound a little fucked up, I apologize. Let me get this thing right. You know, no, really, where do I start? All right, let's just talk about it. I am an attractive person. Sorry. I can't even do it with the straight face, bro. No, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video, man. Y'all already know what to do. I'm trying to hit to 1,000 subscribers, so please hit that like button and all that shit. But nah. So, first of all, let's be serious. Let's not even joke around, dude, because it's a serious topic right here. We're going to talk about, you heard? We're going to talk about top 5 pretty boys of professional wrestling. That's right. You heard it here. I'm a pretty boy. I think I'm a pretty boy. Well, I'm a pretty man. I think I'm a pretty guy. I don't know. All right, growing up, they used to say I was a pretty boy because, like, I looked older for my age. Like, even though I was, like, what, 15, and people thought I was, like, already 18 or something. And people think I'm in my mid-20s. I'm only 20 years old. Puberty was really, really nice to me. But anywho, with that being said, they used to call me a pretty boy a lot, so I said, okay, I know I'm not really a pretty boy no more because I'm a grown-ass man. But why not do top 5 pretty boys of professional wrestling? Why not? And I feel like some of this list is going to be a little too obvious, but I do feel like I got at least 2 to 3 that you'll be like, I wouldn't expect him on the list, but he still won't be on the list, or she gonna be on the list. Well, because I ain't gonna lie, this specifically guys wrestlers, like men. I maybe I'll do a women one, but for right now, we're gonna do top 5 pretty boys of professional wrestling of all time. And yeah, enough with the intro. Let's get right into it. At number 5, I got none other than Dashing Cody Rhodes. That's right. I'm putting Dashing Cody Rhodes at number 5. Now, Cody Rhodes, he really is no longer a pretty boy. Per se, like, he's more of a goody two-shoes all-American guy now. But if you were growing up watching Cody Rhodes before, pre-American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, like, oh my God, that vignettes, all those promos and packages of him, like, showing men how to put, like, what was it, like, cream on their face, and, pause, putting, like, creams all over the face and products and all that, yeah, you will understand why I put him on this list. Like, there was no one who thought they were, like, the prettiest guy ever. Like, he wore a suit, and not like the way he does now. Like, that suit was like now he wears a suit, a tie, a 3-piece suit, or all that. Old Cody, he wore those suits where, like, it's like open here, a nice little light blazer, has a nice little belt, like fancy shit. But yeah, I gotta put him on this list. I really, really, really do. I think I gotta put him on this list, And yeah, Cody Rhodes, when he did his Dashing Cody Rhodes gimmick, he's number 5 on this list. So, yeah, bite me. I don't know. At number 4, I got Mason from MXM Collection. Now, am I being a little biased? Because, again, it's still crazy how that dude literally reposted one of my stories where I edited the trios title on him and Mansoor and Johnny TV. Maybe I'm being a little biased. But at the same time, his gimmick is that he is like a model. He is a pretty boy. And I'm not going to lie, he is a very good pretty boy. I think you should put him up there, But no, all seriousness aside, his gimmick is so perfect, in my opinion. It's actually funny and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna lie, I pay attention to, like, his makeup and stuff, which it was kind of weird because I don't pay attention to the stuff. But I'm like, let me see for, like, the purpose of this video. I'm like, homie knows what he's doing with, like, I don't know what they're called, mascaras or whatever. I don't know. The point is, you could tell he does have put a little makeup for his gimmick and stuff, and it comes out very nice, like, very nice, and it doesn't look bad on him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's right. I'm a straight man. And I'm confident enough to say that about another dude. What you gonna do about it? Deal with me. But no. Point is, he's number 4 when it comes to pretty boys. And plus, I ain't gonna lie, his locks definitely helps. Definitely helps. Because nowadays, everybody does locks. it don't look right for some reason. Like, I don't know what it does. His does look right, and I appreciate that you can tell he takes care of it. Because, like, as you could tell, I love hair, you know. So, but no, real shit. He's actually very fucking funny, and he does do good with the modeling advice and stuff like that. So, yeah, that boy Mason, he's number 4. Like, he's one of the best pretty boys of pro wrestling of all time. So it is what it is. Can't wait to. I hope him, Johnny TV, and Mansoor win that trios title. But yeah, Mason is number 4 on this list of top 5 pretty boys of wrestling of all time. Yes, of all time. And again, this is my list, so you get the gist. On to the next entry and all that shit. At number 3, I got none other than a guy that, if I'm gonna be completely honest, was our Shawn Michaels. That's right. Dolph Ziggler. I have to say it. Dolph Ziggler, first of all, there was no better pretty boy in WWE than Dolph Ziggler. It didn't matter if that dude had blonde hair. It didn't matter if he had long blonde hair, short blonde hair. It didn't matter if he became from the 2014 to 15 to 16 where his hair grew out and he still had a blonde but brownish, and then he started coming out with a jean jacket. Like, it did not matter. That dude was just a pretty boy. It didn't matter if he grew facial hair. The homie made it look good. Like, and by the way, he's one of the few wrestlers that look good in pink, and I love pink. Pink is my favorite color. Like, I ain't even gonna hold y'all. So, but nah, real shit though. Sorry, again, I'm so fucking sick. Ugh. So sorry. Point is, he was a pretty boy. Like, he was the definition of pretty boys. Like, you know, not too strong, not too big, lean, abs, got girls. Like, you know, the amount of girlfriends that man had. Let's see, he had Vicky Guerrero as his girlfriend, AJ Lee as his girlfriend, Lana as his girlfriend, Mandy was his girlfriend. The dude, huh? Dude actually had a lot for, well, no, actually, that's just 4. Hold on, let me think. Okay, AJ, Vicky, AJ, right, good so far. Lana, Mandy. Damn, for a pretty boy, he only had like 4 females. I guess you count Nikki Bella, but I'm also talking about like character work, not his real life. So I don't know what can we really count that. Is he really that pretty then? Oh no, maybe he should be lower on the list. I don't know. Point is, my boy Dolph Ziggler is on this list, and he is the pretty boy. He is number 3 when it comes to pretty boys of pro wrestling. That is that. I loved his title reign in TNA as Nick Nemeth that just ended not too long ago, and I hope he comes back for one more run. So yeah, shout out to you, Dolph Ziggler. You are one of the best pretty boys of pro wrestling, and that's the bottom line. Because I said so. I ain't even like saying that neither. I ain't gonna lie. I might cut that part out. But nah, Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, whatever. One of the best pretty boys of all time. On to the next one. And number 2. That's right. Now, before I say number 2, some would say this guy deserves to be number 1 in this list. And I think he does. But there's a reason why I'm not. And I'm going to explain on the reason for number 1. And I'm talking about none other than Shawn Michaels. Now, I know. Hear me out. How come he's not number 1? His name is the Heartbreak Kid. He breaks heart. He's sexy boy. Yes, absolutely. I get it. His whole gimmick was that he was a pretty boy. He can dress the most feminine way possible and still get more females than you. I get it. I do. But here's the thing. There's a reason why I'm not putting him in number 1. I'll explain that later. But I still have to put him on this list, especially this high, because he was a pretty boy. Let's get one thing clear. Say what you want, but Shawn Michaels, I know we all love to say he was the best wrestler. Shawn Michaels is like the 2000s after he found religion and all that. But the best character work was definitely when he was high off of drugs and being a problematic dickhead. So, but nonetheless, though, that version of Shawn Michaels was a pretty boy, one of the best pretty boys in the business. Like, it didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter if it was the hair, the tight clothes, the color pattern he did. It didn't matter if he was like chopping, whatever it was. he was a pretty boy. And apparently that was also him in real life because, well, you know, he has seen some sunny days, if you know what I'm talking about. Um, no, real shit, like literally his whole gimmick was his personality at one point. His personality at one point. Like homie was legit a pretty boy. And yeah, and I understood why. Like he's still low key is known as the pretty boy. Like not now. He's obviously a cool old dude doing his thing, running NXT. But he was a pretty boy, one of the best pretty boys to ever do it. Probably the best wrestler of all time, if you really think about it, right there with Bret Hart when it comes to in-ring talent. So yeah, no, we got to put Shawn up here at number 2. And yeah, Shawn Michaels at number 2 for best pretty boy of wrestling of all time, in my opinion, or whatever the fuck I'm gonna title this video. Like the dude had it all. He had aura. He had aura before it was cool to say aura. Like, let's be real. Shit. Okay, before we go to number 1, I want to give some honorary mentions. All right, and those goes to Mansoor from MXM Collection as well as Johnny TV. Those are some pretty boys, and I want to give a shout out to Ric Flair, young Ric Flair, because I ain't gonna lie, he was also a pretty boy too. You know, he was the man. Like he had the hair, the suit, the watch, you name it. He was a pretty boy. So yeah, shout out to those. Those are my honorary mentions. You get the idea. Those are my honorary mentions. You get the fucking idea. What is wrong with me, man? I'm sorry, I can't speak today, y'all. I'm sick. My words are fucking up like always. Like, but you get the idea. You know, those guys were also pretty boys, but they couldn't make the cut. And yeah, let's go to number 1 right now. And at number 1, that's right. At number 1, we made it. We have made it, you heard? Nah, for real though, we have made it to number 1. And this guy, I have to put him in number 1 for a lot of different reasons. And y'all ain't gonna like it, but I'm still gonna say it. So here we go. At number 1, I have none other than the one, the only, the ravishing Rick Rude. That's right. You heard it here. He's my number 1 of best pretty boys. Now I know what you're saying. How the hell is he that? How the hell is he number 1? Well, can I be honest? Rick Rude was a pretty tall dude. During that time, if you was tall, you had to bulk up to have the best gimmick. Don't believe me? Hear me out. Tall guys, Hogan, Macho Man, Lex Luthor, whatever. Those were some tall dudes. They had to be jacked up, buff guys. Tony Atlas, buff guy. Rocky Johnson, tall, buff, jacked up guy. Not a lot of tall guys can pull that thing. But Rick Rude said, you know, I'm going to have some big muscles, but I'm going to be more lean. I'm going to have the abs. I'm going to have a big, thick mustache. I'm going to have long, curly-ish hair, like all puffing and everything. I'm going to come out with a robe, and I'm going to wear tights with my opponent's face on it or the championship belt on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how cool that was? You know how cool homie was? Like, Rick Rude, ravishing Rick Rude, was the greatest pretty boy of professional wrestling. Mainly because his gimmick, this was legit his gimmick. He went to the audience, picked a girl, made out with her, laid her down on the ring, and started doing his signature dance and everything. Like, that man legit took that pretty boy and said, yeah, I'm going to make it work. Not just work, I'm going to make it work. Like, I'm going to make it be memorable. And you know what? It paid off. It paid off. He won the IC title in that amazing feud he had with the Ultimate Warrior. He beat Ric Flair for the WCW World title. Like, the man was amazing. RRP to that man. Rick Rude was amazing. He was amazing. He was amazing, you know? I said it. Deal with it. Ravishing Rick Rude was amazing. The dude had the cool robes. The attire was dope. The tights with his competitor's name on it. And even when he went to to a talk show and he was talking to the talk show host and everything, he put their faces on it, his tights, you name it, man. Because of him, one of my favorite wrestlers, Velveteen Dream, a guy that I was thinking of putting on this list, but I felt like he which I should really do, but like I feel like I always put him on these types of lists. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, regardless of what he's done in his personal life. As his character, Velveteen Dream, one of my favorite wrestlers. If it wasn't for Rick Rude, we would have never had that version of Velveteen Dream. On some real shit. So Rick Rude was the best pretty boy of pro wrestling, in my opinion. Better than Shawn Michaels, better than Mason, better than Shawn Michaels, Mason. Who else? Who else I had on this? So you get it. Everybody else I said on this. Ric Flair, Dolph Ziggler. Like, I think he was better. I just do, and that's just my opinion. Now, maybe there's someone else that was prettier than him, but who else can be more prettier than the guy that took the name Ravishing? Said, I'm gonna be Ravishing Rick Rude. I'm gonna take your girl wanna be with me, and your man wanna fight me. But they can't fight him because Ravishing Rick Rude was also a bad motherfucker. He was a pretty boy, but he'll kick your ass. Now that's some pretty boy shit. And then when he's done with the match, he still looks up like a pretty boy. Psh. Hey man, I'm not saying he never bleed or anything, but I never seen him bleed. I never seen a scratch on his face after a match. Shawn Michaels did bleed. So all I'm gonna say is this: Ravishing Rick Rude is #1 when it comes to the pretty boys of professional wrestling, and that's that. I don't care what y'all feel. I don't care how y'all feel, or whatever it is. He is the #1 in this list. He's earned it. He is dope as hell. And if I was a wrestler, I would take some inspiration from that dude, especially if you're trying to do a gimmick that has to do with like being a pretty boy or something. So yeah,